we were hanging on. Yeah, we thought there were a number of instances where he might go, and it just kept watching the deal, and it kept other guys kept showing up. So that was a good thing for us, and really pleased with adding Mykel to our group.
What sold you guys on him specifically?
Everything. I think the totality of the whole process, and the film is very impressive. I mean, Mykel's a big, good-looking kid in every way. He's big, he's tall, he's long. He's a great athlete. He's tough. He's smart. He's versatile. He can play outside. He can play inside. He does all those things. I think the toughness. He played through an ankle injury last year, and missed 2 games. But high ankle sprains can be a tough deal, and to only miss 2 games and play as well as he did. Came through here on a 30 visit and really got a feel for the kid, and I just think all of that led us to this guy is a Niner. He fits who we are, our culture, and we pounced when he was there.
John, you said you were hanging on. Did you try to trade up to get him?
May have. I may have. And I don't know. No, we tried, and thank God they took someone else because he was still there when we were picked, so we're happy.
The other day you mentioned you had a few guys in mind for that pick. Was he the guy that you guys were really hoping to get and hoping it was available at 11? And if not, you had some others in mind?
Go ahead.
Me go?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, definitely. That's the hardest thing because you got to have a number of guys that you really want, but you definitely got to know who you're going to take first. Like I just told the story on the radio, but like my wife and kids, I told them who I wanted last night. I trust them. None of you guys know them. But I told them Mykel, and they're like, I was like, but he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be there. So I was telling them to other people we might think about. My wife calls me this morning and says she just read a mock draft that he's going 28th, and she was worried that we were just dead wrong about everything that's worked out of me. But we had a good idea he was going earlier, and but you don't actually know. And so we thought about going up, and John definitely attempted for a sec, and I was like, good attempt, man. I think we should go. But they shot him down. And so we were ready to watch him go away, and we were ready to go to our second and third. But he didn't go where we thought he was going to go. And then he got to our pick, and I was like, can't believe you tried to trade there. Of course he was coming. So like that's our thing about the draft. You never know, but we stuck there and waited for a guy, and we got the guy we wanted.
John, you talked the other day about you look at the guy who's at the edge at defensive line. It seems what sort of stands out in Mykel. Just how did that aspect of this game sort of?
Well, specifically to that, I was just talking to Chris Kasarik, and he said this, and when we went through our draft meetings, I think he's the best edge setter in college football. I think he's the best edge setter in this draft class. So if that's the premise of one of the things that's a hallmark of what we want in an edge guy, he does it extremely well. And I think that was impressive. Again, I mentioned the ability, he plays outside, he can come inside in the sub rush packages and rush over guards. And then I think, him being 20 years old but having a maturity and a way about him when he came through here, we felt that. We felt his presence. They talk about it at Georgia, and his leadership and all those things, and you could feel it. He's just very comfortable in his own skin, and that was impressive when you put it along with together with the film.
What's his skill set as a pass rusher, and how much upside does he have?
I think he's got a lot of upside. His skill set is a guy that can rush with power. He's a good enough athlete where he's got some wiggle. He's extremely proficient. I think when they run games for that big of an athlete, I think he's a really good stop-start. Sometimes those guys can get going, but it's hard when a quarterback steps up. They can't change direction. I think he can do that really well. So he's got a lot of attributes. He's obviously got to come put them all together. But we're excited to work with him.
It's awesome when you got a guy that the more you watch him, the better he gets. And when you see how he uses his length and his arms and stuff, that stuff doesn't jump off the tape with everyone. Like when you first turn on Nick, when he was at Ohio State, you don't appreciate him the first time you watch him. But the more you watch him, you realize how much of a ninja he is with his hands and hand placement, all that stuff. And that's how Mykel grows on you too. The more you watch him, like, man, this guy's. I knew he was good, but he's a lot better than I thought. And then I love him over guards, but he also can do it outside just as well. So to have that versatility, 2 areas that can help us a lot, and to be as physical in the run game and to be the type of guy he is, that's why it's been a spot guy we were hoping for a while.
You see, this is one of those cases where the stats are the stats, but when you look at the film, it's a different case altogether.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the stats, so I really don't know. Like I have
14 over 3 seasons.
14.
Sacks.
All right. How many pressures? What was his pressure rate? But that all stuff goes into play, you know. So it's if someone, you know, if you see something that's alarming and there are a bunch of stats that match it, it all stacks up. You know, when you watch this the tape and those questions don't come up, if someone brings it to your attention and it's something alarming, I guarantee someone did tell me that. But that doesn't even register that much because that's not what I see. I see a guy that's really hard to block in the run game and the pass game, hard to block for tackles, hard to block for guards, and I think it's really cool when you think about college football now. I mean, half these guys coming out, I say the majority almost seem 24, 25, and we got a 20-year-old who looks like a man on tape. But to look like a man on tape as a 20-year-old when you're going against 25-year-olds, I think is a big difference. And I'm excited to see him in the NFL 5 years from now when he'll only be 25.
How much did the ankle, how difficult did the ankle make it to evaluate his season last year, and
Yeah.
also just what's your comfort level with where he is in terms of?
Yeah. So I think when a guy has a body of work, you almost appreciate that. You don't like that he had an ankle injury, but you give him a ton of credit. Matt Barrows, you just mentioned Will Muschamp. Will just texted me and said this guy played. He's tough as you know what. He just played through an ankle injury the entire year and missed 2 games. And he's tough. He's smart. He's got huge upside. You know, so all the things we saw. And so when you see the previous years and all that. And he's doing great. He just had a pro day just about 7 days ago, and looked really good. And our docs checked him out. It was all good.
Ankle sprains we've all dealt with, and they're as nagging of an injury as you can have. And most people are out a month with them, but even when you're out a month, they still linger all year. And so when you watch this tape, and I watched it before, I kind of see everyone, especially the top guys. And then I get in there and I hear some of this stuff, and I liked him not knowing that. And then you hear that stuff, and you're like, all right, that says a lot about his character, how tough he can play. That only missed 2 games because of it. But also the fact, I know he's not healthy either all the time, because I know how much high ankle sprains linger. And so when you see that and knowing he's playing through that, I look at all that as a huge bonus.
You guys have had, I guess, varying degrees of success trying to find a bookend for Bosa, kind of since Steve Ford had a back injury. I mean, is this, I guess, particularly exciting just because, you know, to have the potential of 2 disruptive guys on the outside?
Absolutely, yeah. And we still need more. You know, we got 10 more picks, and he won't be the only D lineman. So, you know, we got to keep going. You know, we've always talked about they're kind of the engine that stirs our defense, and we've got some work to do. We know that, but I think this guy's a great core piece moving forward, and a great bookend to Bosa, who also has the versatility, Eric, along with Yetur, to kind of play throughout the line. So I think that's kind of exciting, all the different combinations we can have.
I'm assuming that you talked to Kirby Smart. What was his appraisal of his leadership and the effect that Mykel had on the locker room at Georgia?
You know what? I am tight with Kirby, but pretty soon and early in this process, it was apparent that Mykel was a guy for us, and so we kind of laid low on that. I you know, like Kyle said it when we were on the radio, sometimes you don't have a lot of the character of this kid is impeccable. The scouts did a tremendous job delivering the information. We saw everything we liked, and so sometimes it's best just to let things lie, and we did.
It's so scary to have to go find things out, because usually people find out that you're trying to find things out, and so there's always a risk to that. And so if you're asking someone something just to ask it, that doesn't help you that much. You shouldn't do it. That's how people find something out, through third parties, and that allows people to jump in front of you. It's just, we've learned things too much that way, so you know other people do that. So yeah, you want to dig into everybody, but if you can do that without putting yourself on Main Street to do it, that usually helps you. But sometimes you don't have that. You're not in that situation. You got to speak to the guy. You got to dig more. But that was cool not having to do that as much with this guy.
Is it tough to project him into your system when he played so much 4-eye in college? And what does it say about him that he could play that position with his body type?
I think what it helps us, you know, that's not the style we play. Georgia, Schumann, their coordinator, they've been very successful. That's not the technique. It's very antithetical to the way we play. We get our guys raring and ready to go. but I think you see enough of Mykel, particularly on third down, that we see all the things that I think it just makes for even more excitement than when he is cut loose. Watch out.
When you talk about maturity and being comfortable in his own skin, what are some of the things that stand out to you that maybe you don't see in other people?
I don't know about not seeing in other people. I just think, so you come on these 30 visits, and it's one small piece of the entire puzzle. But we have noticed that some of our best players have made a really good impression. And we try to throw some guys we have no interest in just to keep people guessing, because people do study those things. People in this room study those things very well. So we try to throw some, but you know, it is, I remember Fred Warner, his 30 visit just solidified that our interest in this guy. Mykel had a very similar, I know Kyle, we're not in on every conversation, but we, you know, work together and having those conversations. And there was just, a lot of these guys, and they should be, are incredibly nervous. If he was, he hit it very well. He just seemed very comfortable at who he is, what he wants to be, and that left us really excited. And I think, you know, did a great job at just letting us feel what football means to him and why he loves the game so much.
So did you attend any of his games, and did you just meet for the first time on that visit?
So when you go to games, you don't, you don't meet them. But I didn't see Mykel's game this year. No.
And you didn't just meet him until this last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's the first time I met him at the 30. Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
Robert Saleh and Chris Kasarik have to say about him after watching this film?
Same stuff, just
yeah.
more aggressive and more. There's no one else we need to look at. Why are we doing anything? So they're good salesmen.
They're both happy people,
But
right?
very
now.
happy.
When
So.
we talk about the struggles of the run defense last year, how much of it was the absence of, you know, that versatile guy like an Eric Armstead that it looks like you're hoping to recreate here with Mykel?
Yeah. I think one thing that I'm always cognizant, we've done really well with those type of body types. Eric, I think Arden Key, Charles Omenihu, guys who have that flexibility, I think kind of make us better, and we like that. So, and I think in all facets, not just the run game. Mykel is an excellent run player, one of the tops in college football by the numbers, by our eyes. And then in addition to it, we think he's got a tremendous upside in his pass rush ability as well from multiple spots.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.